introduce Alexander here with me. I want to explain to those of you who just joined us. This is the medical seminar conducted by ISCHAM, the Israeli Chamber of Commerce in China, Derech Hameshi, and Innovation. Derech Hameshi is ISCHAM strategical partner here in Israel. We both are an NGO. My name is Tzlil, I'm the GM in Derech Hameshi. We are both NGOs dedicated to assist the Israeli companies in the Chinese market. Our partner, Innovation, who is hosting us today in this beautiful facility, is a platform to enhance cross-border activity between countries. We have been conducting this seminar in the past month since the coronavirus outbreak has reached other countries worldwide. The idea is to share knowledge and information between doctors and people around the world that are in isolation or in quarantine and need basic information and medical basic information. I want to get it from professional medical experts. As you know, our medical seminar is very diverse and is connecting different experts in the medical arena. Today, we'll be introducing to you innovative medical solutions from Israeli experts. So our second speakers for today is Alexander Goldin. He's the CEO and founder of Alango Technologies. And today, he will be sharing with us the insight about hearing health and emerging ways to treat hearing loss. And we're very excited. So I would just want to ask from you before we start to mute yourself. Obviously, if you have questions, you can write it on the chat during the presentation. It will be interactive, so you might ask questions during the presentation. And we will have, after the 30 minutes presentation, we will have about 10 to 15 minutes time for Q&A. Don't forget that we are also on ISCHAM Facebook and Innovation Facebook and on Weibo. We're there live. So let's start with Alex's presentation. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Alex. The stage is yours. Alexander, sorry. I'm cutting your name all the time.
Both is fine. So, hello, everybody. Ni hao. And I would like first to thank Innovation and ISCHAM for inviting me here. It's a pleasure to be here and give this talk, which about hearing health and the consumer electronics ways to treat this problem. And we will also speak a little bit about the virus and how hearing loss is related to treatment of the virus. So I'm sure that not all viewers of this session know what Alango Technology is, so it's a very short, just a second, yeah. So very short information about it. So I founded this company in 2002 in Israel. And today we have 37 employees, mostly engineers. We have 2 R&D offices in Israel and Russia. And you see these nice pictures showing even some similarity between these 2 locations. And our business is DSP technology, digital sound processing technologies for voice and audio enhancement. And as you understand, they are dealing with sound, which is the second part of the company does, which is wear and hear line of personalized hearing products. So let's talk a little bit about hearing loss problem. And hearing loss problem is a major worldwide health problem. And sometimes it's called a silent epidemic because it affects more than 1.2 billion people worldwide, making almost 500 million people disabled. And here's the trend. This problem is not going away. It's actually increasing. And we see that we are now in 2020 with about 500 million people with disabling hearing loss. And we expect that by 2050, we will have twice this number. We will have close to 1 billion of disabled people just because of their hearing loss in the world. And if we think about the geographic of hearing loss and the trend, how fast it increases, we see that the picture is more or less the same worldwide, although some regions, especially developing countries, are affected more than others. So the growth of hearing loss is faster in these areas. And this data from worldwide, from World Health Organization. So hearing loss affects all parts of our lives, starting from childhood. It's delaying speech and language skills. It impacts learning problems, learning capabilities in schools. It makes children feel bad about themselves and isolates it from their friends. And all this impacts the adult life, where people may have reduced communication, following reduced work performance, reduced household income, and impaired social and private life because of that. And for elderlies, hearing loss is directly related to loneliness. People cannot communicate, and isolation. Because they cannot communicate, they are trying to be alone and isolate themselves from each other. Eventually, it leads to depression and cognitive decline. And today we have scientific data. It's clearly proven that hearing loss is directly related to the risk of dementia. So we see, if we take the risk of dementia for normal hearing, then even mild hearing loss, which you may not even feel or be aware of, causes like 2 times increase in the risk of getting dementia. And with severe hearing loss, it's 5 times more than the people with hearing loss, with normal hearing. So, and what is interesting is that hearing loss starts affecting our chances to get dementia when we are elderly in actually early stages of our life, from about the midlife. So, and this is today the most important factor in having increased chances of dementia when we get older. So if we compare, then we see that it's 9% against obesity and hypertension that have much smaller chances. And even at older age, the chances of getting the other factors provide much less increase in the chances of getting dementia. So here are interesting facts. So if we want to reduce the risk of dementia, and we need to choose one specific item. So we can do exercise, we can stop smoking, or we can get some treatment from depression. It's occurred that just getting help with your hearing will give you the most advantage. Of course, we need to do all this, but treatment of hearing loss is the most important factor. So all these factors affecting us from childhood to our older ages, in summary, it affects us a lot, and it costs eventually our society $750 billion annually. And it's unaddressed hearing loss, something that we can take care of. Of course, if we compare it with the damage that is produced by the coronavirus today, it's maybe uncomparable. We are speaking about trillions of dollars, but we hope that it will be one-time payment, while hearing loss, it's our annual payment. So the standard solution, when we hear about hearing loss, what the first thing that comes to mind, it's of course hearing aids. And we have different types of hearing aids. We have behind the ear hearing aids, we have in the ear hearing aids, in the canal, receiver in canal, and completely in canal, and invisible, and whatever you would like to use, you have. And unfortunately, with all this said, hearing aids failed to provide a solution for this problem of hearing loss. Here are the data. Worldwide, as we discussed, 1.2 billion people have hearing loss, and less than 5% of them use hearing aids. And if we think that this problem is only for developing countries because of the budget, because of the cost of hearing aids, not only that, we see that the United States, the richest nation in the world, the penetration rate of hearing aids is below 18%. So why? What's the problem with hearing aids? What's wrong with them? And we think that there are four main problems. The first one is cost. They are extremely expensive. A pair of hearing aids, good quality, modern hearing aids, will cost you between $2,000, the lowest end model, and maybe $10,000 or more, $12,000 for high-end models with all the bells and whistles. But this is not the only problem. We have social stigma. Even when hearing aids are fully covered by insurance, like in Europe, in some countries, still many people refuse using hearing aids. And why? Because they think that wearing hearing aids make them look old and handicapped. And it's not only related to young people, which really the percentage of usage for hearing aids is very small, but it's also true for older people. Some of them don't like hearing aids, no matter if it's free or you need to pay for them. So this is the second problem. The third problem is the limited functionality. Today, we are used to multifunctional devices. Our mobile phone is a great example. We can do everything with that. With the basic hearing aids, we can only do hearing amplification. We cannot do mobile phones, we cannot listen for music, and we cannot use them as kind of assistive listening devices. There are today, it's changing, the high-end hearing aids, most expensive hearing aids that will cost you $10,000, $12,000 will do this. Not the best way, but they will do this. But if we are talking about solution to this silent epidemic, they are not there yet. I mean, the hearing aids. And the fourth problem, time to get it. Okay, you have it free. You don't have stigma. And you have the multifunctional hearing aids. You still need a lot of time to get them, and then to set it right. That means you need to visit audiologist 4-7 times to make it right. And it's not guaranteed that you will have it right, because you generally come into a quiet office like we are sitting here, and you are audiologist, you ask me, how do you hear? I say, well, I hear well. I go out and I don't hear anything. So that's a big problem. And but that's fine when you live next door to me. But think if I'm in a remote area, think about people like in the US, in Alaska, when you need to fly 2-3 hours to the doctor. Who will fly for 7 hours to fit the hearing aid? Nobody.
Or in China.
Same problem. So in remote areas, we need something else. So alternative. What is the alternative? Think different. I like this slogan very much. It's actually Apple advertising slogan about 20 years old. So we need to think different. And what is different in our case? Instead of having medical and expensive device, let's have a consumer electronics device which will be affordable. Instead of small and invisible device, let's try to do it stylish and fashionable. So we'll solve the problem of stigma. Instead of making device hearing oriented, let's make it multifunctional with all the functions that we need today. And instead of distributing it through the professionals, let's do it off the shelf and self-administered. I'm not saying that it's easy, but this is different. And let's say what we have today, we have these hearable devices, Bluetooth headsets. And if we disassemble it, we'll see that today's Bluetooth headset contains all the components of a high-end hearing aid. It has low noise microphones. It has good quality hi-fi speaker. It has a powerful digital signal processor. It has Bluetooth connectivity. It has rechargeable battery, which is also environmentally friendly. What is missing? The only thing that is missing is software. As soon as you have the right software, you solve the problem, almost. And we are the software company. We've been around for 20 years, and that's what we've decided to do, and that's what we've done today. But let's speak about different styles. So we have many styles. We need to pick up the best style. We want to use the hearing Bluetooth headset as a basis, but what kind of? Mm-hmm. And we identified three major styles that are suitable. We have still this body clip style, which may be convenient for some users. We have this classical style, which is either neck type style, this is what I'm wearing now, or a mono-oral communication Bluetooth headset. Mm-hmm. And we have this modern true wireless style. So all of them have the advantages and disadvantages. It's not always convenient to use these latest true wireless devices. They can fall out, they can easily be lost, and you cannot then put them out for a moment. So there are advantages in other styles as well. So what we do, we picked up as our first step, we picked up three styles, three devices. We created three devices. One is called Be Here Now, which is for ages 40-70. Another one is Be Here Access, which is for from 60 to 80 plus, and it has a very large control buttons that is easy to navigate for people with dexterities. We have mono-oral type 1. We need mono-oral type when most of the hearing aid is binaural. Because
what does it mean, binaural?
Binaural, that means I use it in 2 ears. Yes? Mm-hmm. In mono-oral, I use it in 1 ear. But think about that let's say I'm a waiter. Mm-hmm. I'm coming to serve you, and I have stereo headset in my ears. What do you think? You may think that I'm not actually with you, okay? With mono-oral device, you will immediately understand that it's just a communication device. Okay, so there are advantages on all these types. We also created some accessory devices. One of them is a hearing transmitter that will transform our system into the TV listening system. And we have this, we call it YONA. It's actually remote microphone. YONA is a kind of messenger in Hebrew. So it also has long range, low latency device. So let's now see what we can do with all these devices. Again, this is not a commercial presentation. I just gave them as an example what can be done. But all I will speak now will be about the what we can do with this type of devices, which are not hearing aids, but personal hearing products. So first, we can do hearing assessment. Using the simple application, we can do a simple hearing assessment, changing the position of the slider of the screen. I will just show what the person hears when. So users will hear tones, and then they need tones like this or tone like this, which is higher level, a higher pitch tone. And all the user will need to do is adjust the slider till the threshold where it's on the border of hearing a note. After we complete it for both ears and all frequencies, we have this picture, which is on the right, which is now like audiogram. We don't call it medical hearing test. We call it hearing assessment. But by the way, it's very precise. And after that, we do this. Actually, all sounds that we hear through this device are customized for specific hearing loss, or we call it preferences. So the device will be used as a one-to-one conversations. So it will be used as a hearing aid. The device can be used at concerts. It can be used for phone calls. It can be used for TV watching, and it can be used in public venues equipped with induction loops. So personalization. So we have this personalization device. We can have different profiles that we can pre-compute, pre-install for the indoor, outdoor, for different environments where we are. And they are computed according to the hearing test. And then we can further, while we use the device in a specific environment, we can fine-tune it, like you see the finger, going around, and we find the best sound point. So when we change it, the position of the finger, we hear different sounds. So we actually adjust the hearing according to our specific situation, which is something that cannot be done today, like with hearing aid. So next, phone calls. It's very important today, by the way. People are isolated, some of them in quarantine. So we need communication, and we need communication by phone. And, people with hearing loss generally experience difficulties using mobile phones. These devices are connected to phones by design. And we can do a lot of that. We can improve the sound. We can adjust the sound that people hear according to their hearing loss. And that's what we do. But we also can do some interesting things like elderly people with hearing loss experience difficulties hearing fast sound, children, grandchildren. Sometimes it's difficult for them. We can slow them down automatically. And that's how it sounds after slowing down. So
this is a demonstration
of
the original sound enhancement technology.
And
this is a demonstration of Elanco speech enhancement technology.
We can do it in real time without asking the person to speak slower. So just we choose the right speed for the person to speak.
But this is something you do in advance or while you're talking?
While we're talking. While you're talking, you can choose the right speed. So just you have this application. While you're talking, you have the screen and you can change it. Okay, next, direct TV. Again, many people are isolated. They watch TV more. They need the high quality sound. That's what we can do. With the transmitter, we can transmit directly to the device and without reverberations, without noises, and also not pumping the volume too high. And again, the problem to people, one with normal hearing, one with hearing loss, may have conflicts, especially when they need to sit in quarantine in the same space, right? So we solve this problem. So next.
Regarding quarantine, I also received this question. How do people can maintain the device by themselves if they are isolated?
Yes.
For technical issues?
There is no much maintenance with the device. It's very simple. It's not small. It's not fragile like hearing aids. These devices are pretty big. I mean, this is the device. I mean, there is nothing to maintain. Big buttons. If you need to clean it, just clean it.
It's easy to clean.
It's easy to clean, of course. No problem. So this is an application which is less relevant for this time. This is actually for public venues, equipped with what is called induction loop. And it's very popular in Europe and the United States, where you have magnetic induction, you have a wired loop around the venue, and then it transmits directly to what is called telecoils. We have this built-in telecoils in these devices, so you can have the clean sound when you're in a public venue. It may be church, maybe theater, maybe any public place. So it's a very useful technology. And the microphone, the additional device, the remote microphone, we can give it to another person. So if I have a hearing loss and we are sitting together in a restaurant and it's very noisy, I can give you the microphone and it will transmit directly to my ears. Same in an open space where actually the sounds are pretty no, the opposite. They are, if I'm in nature, they are the opposite. They are weak. Yes, bird. So we can transmit directly from one side to another, to one person to another. Okay, so we discussed hearing loss. We discussed the ways what we can do with these personal hearing products. And we know that hearing loss is related to many problems and to many health problems. It's not it's not difficult sometimes to say what is the cause and what is the consequence, but still it's clear that it's related to cardiovascular diseases, Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes, and hospitalization, mortality, chances of falling, depression, and many health problems. But look at this plot. And if you look at that, what is this? Can you guess what are these two plots?
Age band.
What is on left and what is what is on the left and what is on the right? So hearing loss and the chances of mortality from the coronavirus. I'm not saying that they are related directly. That is not. But what is happening? That we know for sure that people are coming to the hospital they will have much higher chances of having hearing loss. And when the person goes to hospital, the last thing he probably thinks of is his hearing aids, because they are expensive, and also maybe the opposite. He wants to leave them at home because they are expensive, they are easy to lose, easy to break. Okay, so we have a huge problem. People cannot communicate, or physicians cannot communicate with the patients. Here we have an example. This device is very easy to administer. It can be even given to people. It will be cheaper to give such device to a patient than to cope with the problem of hearing loss. So very easy to administer, very easy to use, very easy to put on, to put off. Same problem if we speak about like surgeries and the situation, what is called delirium. Delirium is also a health problem. It's something when the it happens often when people like go to hospital and they come out different people. It's just you cannot recognize them. Their psychology is changing. Sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it's not. And then it's happening because the people experience stress. They cannot communicate. They don't know what's happening with them. And it's extremely important for them to have visual help and hearing help. Again, can you put hearing aids on this person? Probably not. You can put such type of devices easily. This or other types of devices. Oh, okay.
What about the longevity of the batteries?
The device runs at about, 12, 13 hours.
And how do you charge it?
Through wirelessly, there is a charging station you can really easily put
in your house. You can have it.
Charging station which comes with the device. Now we'll talk a little bit about other problems associated with hearing loss and how these devices can treat them. Tinnitus, ringing in the ears. It's a problem that happens in about 10% of people, and a large number of people just call it disabling. So they are really struggling, they are suffering from this constant sound. And these paintings show what really some very emotional expression of what people hear and feel, yes. So what can we do? And the standard way of treating tinnitus, or the most common way, is what is called, besides medications and all things, but this is called tinnitus masking. So actually, instead of being in a quiet, the person hears some noises that are artificially generated. They are not, because tinnitus is not the real noise. It's a noise. It's a subjective tinnitus, something that originates in the brain, probably some regions of the brain, affected, by the way, by the hearing loss sometimes. So if we play some external sounds, we can actually mask this feeling. And when we mask this feeling, we can do it easily with these devices. So we can produce this tinnitus treatment. And so this is the option that we can do, and we can easily let people to choose their masking sound themselves, something that you can do with traditional hearing aids by, like with our best sound point, by finding the best point on the grid, for example. Now, stuttering, another problem, speech pathologies, which can be solved. Stuttering affects about 1% of people worldwide, and it's also some kind of disabling problem. And it's solved by, in 80%, it can be helped, but it's called altered auditory feedback, or when person hears himself or herself delayed and with a pitch shift. That means it's like in a chorus. Stutterers do not stutter when they sing in a chorus. Same, when I hear another person speaking in parallel to me, then I will not stutter. It's a very interesting effect, no explanation for that, but it's a fact, helps in 80% of people. Just let you hear, so if this is my original voice.
You can hear my voice at all times. This is Elanco Technologies.
That's what I will hear with this device, or this device like this. We don't have it in this device like this. What will person will hear instead of just his own voice?
You can hear my voice at all times. This is Elanco Technologies.
So it's like we are using the user's voice, modify it, delay it a little bit, and let the person hear, and that creates this chorus effect, preventing stuttering. And so that's another application of these devices, which is related to hearing and speech. And this. So basically, that's it. That is the end of my presentation. And I hope that these new types of devices, emerging types of devices, consumer electronic devices, will help us to reduce the consequences of hearing loss, so that some part of this $750 billion that cost us hearing loss worldwide, we will spend on something else. And I hope that our world will sound better to all of us eventually. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alexander. It was very interesting.